Welcome to the Key Exchange. Today, we're doing a deep dive looking into a really key piece of the Peel region housing puzzle right now. We're using this specific property for Dantek Court in Brampton as our lens, trying to understand not just the house, but, why it represents such a strong strategy in the market today.
Exactly. Our goal is to figure out why this kind of home, this architecture in this Brampton North spot, why it's hitting such a, sweet spot, both for buyers looking at investment and families who just need flexible, roomy places to lease in what's frankly a super competitive market.
Right. And our sources for this, we've got the detailed property listings, architectural details from places like Solo and Catch the Key Inc., plus insights on the Brampton North neighborhood itself, and that broader regional data, housing trends, affordability issues, the seriously hot rental market in Peel.
Yeah, and a lot of the really specific insights, the detailed analysis we're going to unpack, that comes straight from the team led by Sushil Mishra and Himani Sood at Catch the Key Inc., REMAX. They're right in the thick of it, understanding value and, maybe more importantly, flexibility in this exact market. Their input really helps connect those big regional trends to, what makes a specific property work.
Okay, so let's get into it. The architecture first. For Dantek Court, it's a semi-detached home, standard enough, but the key is its structure. It's a 5-level backsplit. And that design, the backsplit, located there in Brampton North, that's immediately a signal, isn't it, of strategic potential in this market.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
We need to look beyond just the basic description. It's not just about having 5 levels. It's about how those levels create separation.
Yeah.
A 5-level backsplit, inherently, it just maximizes privacy and functional division, all under one roof. And the sources we have, including the analysis from Sushil Mishra's team, confirm this structure is kind of perfect for what's happening in Peel right now. Multi-generational families, or that live-rent model.
And the layout itself. The listing mentions 4 plus 2 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms total, but the real kicker, the feature that everyone's looking for right now, seems to be on the lower level.
That's the game changer, exactly. This place includes a fully self-contained 2-bedroom suite down there. It's described as having its own kitchen, its own laundry, and critically, its own private side entrance. Basically, it's a ready-made ARU, an additional residential unit. Instant flexibility baked right in.
Which, when you think about the cost of owning or even long-term leasing in the GTA, well, having that option to offset cost with a truly independent unit is huge. It makes a potentially expensive property suddenly feasible for a lot more people. But, running an ARU successfully, it takes more than just putting up a wall.
That's a really important point. It definitely raises questions. You need good management, clear lines on who uses what, who pays for what. So how does this specific property for Dantek actually tackle those day-to-day challenges?
Well, let's look at the practical stuff. Parking. Always a headache with multi-unit setups in the suburbs. This place offers 4 spots total. You get the garage, plus a 3-car driveway, that amount of dedicated parking. It really cuts down on one of the biggest friction points you see between, say, upper and lower tenants, or even within a large family sharing the space.
Right. And that practical thinking extends to utilities, too. The notes we have from Sushil Mishra's team, they mentioned the typical split.
Yeah.
Recommending something like 70% of the utility costs for the main 4-bed unit, 30% for the separate suite. It's these small, practical details that turn potential headaches into just smooth operation, maximize the investment, or just makes living there easier.
And focusing just for a second on that main unit, the one that might lease for around $3,000 a month, according to the sources, you're getting a pretty decent chunk of space, 1,100 to 1,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms. Plus, it's got modern touches, right? The break kitchen with granite, the family room with the fireplace, and walk out to the patio. It's designed for comfortable living for the main occupants, too.
Exactly. It's that combination, the updated comfort upstairs and the complete independence downstairs, that makes these specific kinds of properties winners in the secondary rental market right now.
Okay, so we've talked structure. Let's shift gears. The building is one thing, but where it sits. Let's talk about Brampton North, the neighborhood ecosystem.
Yeah, the location is definitely strategic. The sources describe the area around Dantek Court as this blend of suburban calm, but with real urban convenience. It scores a 72 walk score, which for a suburban area is actually pretty good. It means you can do a lot of daily stuff without always needing the car.
But I think the big draw economically and for lifestyle is the connectivity, isn't it? This location seems built for commuters. You're literally minutes from Highway 410. That's your gateway to the whole GTA. That's not just geography. It's a massive value driver. It widens the net for potential tenants or buyers dramatically.
Totally. And it's not just the 410. You've also got frequent bus routes nearby, and it's just a short drive to connect with the UGO train network. For someone looking at this as an investment, good transit links mean lower vacancy, more stable rent. For someone living there, it's time saved, plain and simple, every day.
And beyond just getting around, the lifestyle stuff looks pretty good too. It's close to significant green spaces, which is huge for families. You've got Heart Lake Conservation Area nearby, hiking, fishing, that treetop trekking thing, and Chingwakusi Park, which is like this massive recreation hub, splash pads, skating in winter, sports fields, even a petting zoo.
And education is a big factor too. The area offers flexible school catchments. Crucially, there are options for specialized programs, things like French immersion or the IB program. That choice in public education, it really anchors the neighborhood's appeal for families. Plus, its closeness to Sheridan College's Davis campus adds another layer, creates a steady demand for rentals from students and maybe young professionals too.
Okay, so this really brings us to the heart of it, the market dynamics. We need to zoom out a bit. Why is a property structured exactly like 4 Dantek Court so valuable right now in Peel?
Well, connecting it to that bigger picture, the urgency comes from a pretty stark reality. The rental market in Peel is incredibly tight. The sources we looked at consistently describe it as very hot. You hear actual reports of bidding wars for rental units, and a lot of that pressure is coming from high immigration numbers and family growth just outpacing the new housing supply.
And here's the stat that just jumps out, the one defining this shift. ARUs. Additional residential units, those secondary suites like the one at 4 Dantek, their use in Peel just exploded, up 224% between 2019 and 2023. I mean, that's not slow growth. That's a fundamental restructuring of the housing market happening right before our eyes.
It really is.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is this huge growth in ARUs is driven by a mix of things, policy changes, allowing them more easily, but also the sheer affordability crisis. At the same time, traditional purpose-built rentals, big apartment buildings, that stock has actually been declining in the region. And on top of that, building new affordable housing units also dropped in 2023. High interest rates, inflation. It just made development too expensive for many.
So you've got this massive demand surge meeting a contraction in traditional supply, which puts enormous pressure back onto single-family style homes, basically forcing them to adapt, to house multiple families or tenants. And the semi-detached backsplit, like the one we're dissecting here, becomes almost by default a critical solution.
It really does step into that gap. Sushil Mishra's team, they had a great quote on this. They said, homes like 4 Dantek Court reflect what Brampton families truly value: space, comfort, and flexibility. And that nails it, I think. This property works because it offers a practical, proven way to tackle both the need for housing and the potential for investment all at once.
Okay, but let's push back a bit here. This heavy reliance on the secondary market, on ARUs, does it raise concerns? I mean, doesn't managing potentially thousands of these basement apartments increase the burden on homeowners, potential liabilities, compared to purpose-built rentals managed professionally? Is this sustainable long-term? Or just a Band-Aid on a deeper supply problem?
That's definitely the tension point. And it's why the design of the ARU matters so much. Properties like 4 Dantek, where the suite seems well-integrated separate entrance, its own laundry, clear utility separation, they mitigate some of that risk. It's less risky than, say, a poorly planned last-minute conversion. But you're fundamentally right. This trend highlights a systemic issue. The private secondary market is essentially absorbing the strain because we haven't built enough purpose-built rentals or dedicated affordable housing.
And that lack of supply is clear in the data. Even though the region is pushing for density, apparently Kiel already hit its 50% density target for new housing in 2023. If the purpose-built rental supply keeps shrinking, it just makes these existing flexible properties even more valuable, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The value of a place like 4 Dantek isn't just the square footage or the countertops anymore. It's about its proven ability to generate potentially 2 distinct stable income streams in a region that's desperate for exactly this kind of housing diversification. You could almost see it as a hedge against that broader housing instability.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening in? 4 Dantek Court isn't just another listing. It's really an example, a case study of a strategically valuable type of property in Brampton North right now. It offers maximum flexibility. That 4+2 bedroom setup, the self-contained suite, those 4 crucial parking spots, and it's located in a high-demand area with great commuter access.
Yeah, so whether your goal is leasing a spacious main home for your family, needing good schools and access, or if you're looking to acquire property for future growth and, frankly, necessary income generation, this model, the backsplit with a proper suite in this kind of location. It directly answers the core demands of the Peel market today.
And we really want to thank the team of Sushil Mishra and Himani Sood from Catch the Key Inc., REMAX, for providing the detailed market data and property-specific insights that allowed us to dig this deep.
Definitely. And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with as you consider the future of housing in the GTA. If regional policy keeps pushing density, but the actual supply of purpose-built rental buildings continues to shrink, just how much higher will the value climb for these existing semi-detached homes, like the backsplits and prime spots like Brampton North? Homes that have already proven they can successfully, flexibly house multiple families and meet this intense need. Something to think about.
Follow for more real estate insights.